Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Benchwire. We got Season 2, Episode 13 in store today. If you guys want to see more content on the channel, drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We would really appreciate it, and let's get started. So, Justin, I don't want
Yeah.
to talk about this game because it's going to make you sad, but I have to get it out of the way. So we'll just get it out of the way, start it off, so you don't have to worry about it later. So, the 49ers beat the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday, 42 to 19. What is your instant reaction to that game?
Sadness, disappointment. Wanted to drop. No, joking. No, it was a rough game. I think we all knew that there was a good chance that. Well, number one, the Eagles were not even favored to win that game, but we all knew there's a chance. 49ers, hey, when they're all healthy, they play really good football. So there's a good chance that the Eagles could drop this one, and they did. But just as a fan, it was the way they dropped it. Lost this game that didn't set well with me. They couldn't move the ball after the first two drives. They didn't. They should have gone up 14-0, but they couldn't put the ball in the end zone, which has kind of been a problem, especially in the first half of the season for the team. But yeah, for them to drive 6 straight possessions, for them to drive and score touchdowns wasn't good. The tackling was bad, and I don't think defensively the scheme worked to throw off Brock Purdy and the offense enough. But if I were to if we were to lose this game, I've been fine. It's just the way we lost the game that doesn't sit well with me the most.
I agree. You guys felt, I think, a little too unprepared for that game. You weren't ready. Debo backed up his trash talk. He went off, had 3 touchdowns. He had, I would probably say, one of his better games of his career. But even though you lost, you still got the first seed. So, it doesn't matter. If you just lose this game and you, win out, you still are in the cards for that first seed. But there is a big game coming up this Sunday night. You got the Dallas Cowboys. You're going to Jerry World. It should be a fun game. Everyone's going to be watching. I would say it's probably the most anticipated game of the week. Do you think the Eagles have a shot in this one? Right now, I believe the Cowboys are favored. I feel like it's going to be a close matchup personally. I feel like it's going to be, divisional game. It's going to be really close. What do you think is going to happen in that game?
Well, I guess we'll get a little preview of our predictions video. But yeah, it's the Dallas, I believe, is undefeated at home, if I'm not mistaken. They play really well at home. I do that Seattle game. That was probably one of the most fun games to watch this week. That Thursday night game, and it was a shootout. So for Seattle to hang with them, I think we can hang with them at home. Just the defense has got to play better because Dak's been playing at MVP caliber level for most of the season. We got to be ready for that. The offense has got to get moving. They got to run the ball. I think like the last game, the 49ers game, they only ran the ball like 8 times, which is not good enough. So they got to establish the run. If Philly can run the time possession, run the ball, and put the ball in the end zone, which it will, they have a good shot at winning this game. But then again, Dallas being at home, it's going to be a much harder game for them to win because they had the same amount of rest that the Niners had playing us, and it's kind of hard to just stay high. Like the gauntlet of teams, like playing the Chiefs, Bills,
the
Niners, Cowboys twice in that span too. It's hard to stay up and play up the competition, I guess. But I think they can. I think anytime you play Dallas, everyone kind of gets up for it and bragging rights over the division. So I think they have a realistic possibility of winning this game.
All right. And then what else was I going to say? So let's talk about the MVP since you were talking about Dak. Who do you think is the MVP right now after Week 13? I have a person in mind that I decided before we started recording. I know we were talking about it off camera, but I think I decided who I think my MVP is right now at this moment.
I honestly think like Tyreek Hill is a really good option because I think if you take him off of that team, they're not as dynamic, and I think he does so much that they wouldn't be putting up the amount of points they did. So I think Tyreek Hill's up for conversation, but it being a quarterback award, I probably just how well he's been playing Dak. I think I would go Dak Prescott as of right now, just because he's been playing with great swag and moxie and poise these past few weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the team is the Cowboys are rallying behind him. He's leading the team well, and he's putting up numbers. CeeDee Lamb has been popping up as a result, and Dalvin Cook, Brandon Cook has been popping off. Jake
Dalvin.
Ferguson, they've been playing much better on offense too. So, and the defense is playing. They've been playing better football. So, I give it. It's as Stephen A would say, it's fluid. It's fluid. It changes.
The list
Like last week, I said
fluid.
Jalen Hurts, and then maybe I'll put Jalen Hurts back up there again.
Yeah, you beat Dak, then
If you
it's
beat
back
Dak
to
twice.
Jalen, right?
But he's been playing good. You gotta give him props. So I'd probably lean Dak, but I think Tyreek Hill's like a close 2, and then I'll probably put Hurts and Purdy.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think Dak right now has been playing, I guess, the best at the MVP level that everyone talks about. Um, and then I would give it to Jalen at 2. And then it's interchangeable. I feel like Tyreek Hill's there. You got Brock Purdy. He had a hell of a game on Sunday. 4 touchdowns, had 300 plus yards, and he leads like all these like statistical categories I saw online. What else happened? What else? CJ Stroud. I feel like he's an honorable mention. He's not there yet. There's a potential that he could, be in that conversation if they like win out and like win a division. That's still up for grabs after Jacksonville just lost. We'll talk about that. But yeah, right now I agree. I think Dak Prescott is your MVP quarterback right now, and I feel like if Jalen Hurts beats the Cowboys, he'll overtake Dak for MVP. But if Dak beats the Eagles, I feel like Dak's still going to be the top one for MVP. So we got a very big game coming up Sunday, so we're going to be looking forward for that one. What did I want to change the topic to? Or let's talk about the little incident before we move away from the Eagles. The security officer, Big Dom DeSandro, and Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah.
What was that on Sunday? What happened? Do you think Dom will get a big suspension, or do you think it'll be like a fine? And who was in the wrong there? Do you think both of them were in the wrong, or do you think it was just Dre Greenlaw? Let's talk about that, because that was kind of
Dom's a
funny.
security guy. He's the head of security, So
I agree.
he's sticking up for his guys. So I think Greenlaw was wrong for number one. He slammed Devontae Smith. He body slammed him, and that's a no-no. So, and then he was kind of like getting in the face, and then Dom, I think he was just trying to play peacemaker, just trying to break it up, and then I don't know we don't know what was said, but Greenlaw did kind of maybe not intentionally, but he did touch him. He did throw a punch, I guess, and it hit him. So, so it's tough. I do think I don't know if the NFL is. I think DeSandro might get fined. I don't think suspended, but
Yeah.
Greenlaw could. Greenlaw could get. I think he could suspend a game and he'll pay a fine as well. But yeah, it was an interesting situation. It did get the Eagles fired up a little bit, but by that point it was kind of too late. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know like what the NFL will do with Dom. I feel like both of them were in the wrong because like I feel like that should be a player's matter, but I get it. He's a security guard. He's defending his team. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think Greenlaw might get suspended 1 game like you said or fined a heavy fine. But DeSandro, I don't know. I don't think they'll like strip a draft pick. They're saying like the NFL could punish the Eagles. I don't know what that's gonna be. I don't think they should get stripped a draft pick. That would be stupid.
No.
But I feel like he could get fined or maybe suspended for a game. I don't know. Maybe he gets
Find a
suspended for a game
paisano
too.
like DeSandro.
I know.
He's the
I can't.
paisano.
But he might be suspended 1 game too. I feel like that might be up for cards. But all in all, it ruined the aspect of the game. I feel like because that took way too long. I don't know. That was like 15 to 20 minutes of them figuring shit out on like flags and all that crap. Who's gonna be ejected? That was annoying, and I didn't like that. But it was still fun to watch. But it just ruined the game.
We knew something was going to happen. It was just not. You were not
matter of time.
maybe you were expecting Greenlaw. I probably was too, but I wasn't expecting our head of security, like our chief security guy, to get involved there.
Yeah, that was
Him to get
insane.
involved.
And then they like literally 5 minutes later, you look on Instagram, they got the Dom DeSandro highlights. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like social media is amazing. But with that being said, we'll stop talking about the Eagles. I know we talked too much about them, but let's see, what can we talk? Let's talk about the Jaguars. So Monday night, the Jaguars lost to Jake Browning and the Bengals, and it was an overtime thriller. Didn't think they would get it done, but the Bengals got it done. And the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence could be out for a few weeks now with a sprained ankle. It didn't look pretty. He's going to get an MRI on it. But the Jaguars now, will they win the division? The Texans are coming. Like, they're like about to overtake them possibly. Who knows? I think the Jaguars are still a great team, but I don't know if I believe in CJ Beathard. Like he's an all right backup quarterback. Do you pursue another backup quarterback? Maybe a guy like Nick Foles. He's out there on the market. He knows the Dougie P offense. So like, I don't know. There's a lot of options out there for the Jaguars. What do you think they do? Do you think they go out and sign a new guy to be a backup quarterback, or do you think they run it with CJ Beathard? And do you think they still will win a division with CJ Beathard or a new quarterback that they get?
Yeah, I'm kind of just wanted to pull up their schedules real quick. That's what I'm doing. I feel like the
Smart man,
Texans'
smart man.
path is easier. They have Stroud still, so I'm looking at it. The Jaguars have to play at Cleveland. They have a good defense. They have to play home against Ravens. That's another good defense. And then you got the Buccaneers on Christmas Eve. That could be an interesting game. And then you got Panthers Titans. So the next two games with a backup, you could probably chalk those two up as potential losses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the Texans are live. They got the Jets. That's a winnable game. Titans is a winnable game. Browns could be pretty winnable too. And then they got the Titans and Colts, so they can run the table here in this final stretch and clinch first. It's just the Trevor Lawrence injury. It's bad timing. I do think they're a good team and they can win a playoff game or two. But yeah, the Trevor Lawrence injury just came at a bad time. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah,
But yeah, I still like Jacksonville in the long term. They just gotta if they could stay afloat and make a wild card spot, then things could get interesting there.
yeah, it should be a fun little race to end the season. It's already week 14. That's crazy. I can't believe that. But yeah, hopefully Trevor Lawrence comes back soon because NFL is more fun when you got those franchise quarterbacks playing. But I don't know. Maybe they do sign a Nick Foles. That would be interesting. That would be fun to watch. I don't know. That would be cool to watch, though. Let's talk about the Jets. Jets, 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 Jets. They just cut Tim Boyle today, so that's crazy. And then there was, a thing saying that, Zach Wilson might be reluctant to play if he was given the starting job back. What is going wrong with the Jets? Do you think Robert Saleh is on his way out? Is he on the hot seat? What should the Jets do at quarterback? Should Aaron Rodgers come back? We kind of talked about this already,
Yeah,
but
last pod.
yeah, on the last pod. So go watch that video too to get more in-depth analysis on Aaron Rodgers. But like, what should the Jets do at quarterback? Do you think they should go back to Zach Wilson? They just brought in that guy from the Seahawks, Brett Ripon.
They
Um, I,
well,
I don't see it with him, but yeah, what do you think they should do?
well, they should have never sat him for Tim Boyle. Really, that was your number two pick a couple years ago. You kind of just have to ride the wave with him.
I
You should have
know.
just wrote it out to see what he is. And then at the end of the season, you're like, nah, he's not the answer long term. Even when Rodgers decides to hand him up after next season or the season after that, don't want to go with him, that's fine. Then you move on from him. Then you stick with Rodgers, and then when Rodgers done, you draft a quarterback again. But they should have never done it. And then letting go of Tim Boyle was interesting. It's just like, why did you even play him in the first place if you're just going to cut him? That I feel like that's unfair to him too. It's
Yeah.
like getting Zach Wilson getting benched for him in the first place. But I don't really blame him for being reluctant to play. At the end of the day, you're a competitor. You're getting paid to play a sport, so it's like you should just play anyway. But I kind of get where he's coming from. They benched me for Tim Boyle in the first place. Why would I suit up just to go behind an offensive line that doesn't block, and me getting scapegoated in the brutal New York market anyway for stinking up when yeah I could make better plays for sure, but it's the whole team and no one's really talking about that. They're talking about how bad I am and when's Aaron Rodgers coming back, blah blah blah. So I get it, but it is a unfair situation. But the only way I see Salah leaving the head coach is if he lost the locker room, which may be kind of what we're seeing a little bit. Maybe he is losing the team. If that's the case, then the Jets will have no choice than to let him go. But I think that decision honestly comes down to Aaron Rodgers. I think Joe Douglas and ownership will consult Rodgers on that decision and see what they go forward with there.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I feel like they're doing everything wrong. They're pushing the red button, I guess you could say. But Tim Boyle, man, like you sign him, you start him over Zach Wilson, and then you cut him. Just doesn't make sense. Don't understand it. And then there's a possibility you might start Zach Wilson this week. Why? Why even bench him then? It just doesn't make sense. That was supposed to be your number 2 overall pick. You didn't really believe in him and you benched him, and now you want to bring him back. It's just weird to say, but I don't know. If I were the Jets, I would move off of Salah. I do believe he is losing the locker room, like you said, and I would get an offensive-minded guy, a guy that will make the Jets have a good offense and be one of the elite offenses next year with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know who that's going to be. Do you go after Eric Bieniemy? That's a possibility. I know he will be available. Eric Bieniemy was also rumored to possibly be a head coaching candidate for the Bears job. But I don't know what the Jets' next move is. I feel like Rodgers should just rest up. He should rest up. Should not even play the season. They're 4-8. There's not even a reason to play. But yeah, Zach Wilson. If I were the Jets, I would start him for the rest of the year. Hopefully, Zach is willing to do that. But yeah, the whole quarterback situation, I feel like Salah's losing the locker room all in all, but sucks to see, especially this was like one of the most anticipated years for the
Yeah.
Jets, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Sal's an interesting coach. Like I remember him being the defensive coordinator for the 49ers. He seemed like a big, rah guy, like hyping up the guys. And ever since he got the New York job, he was like very like stone faced, like stoic, like not saying much, not talking too much.
Yeah,
It was really weird. And I'm like, yeah. And now we're kind of seeing like maybe he's losing the locker room. So I do understand your offensive minded point. I just think with my point, they just need a leader in there. It could be defensive or offensive. They just need to get the right coach in there because I think not having a bottom 5 offensive line that they do, they're not going to go
that doesn't.
anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, they just need to invest heavy in the O line next
build
year.
the trenches.
Yeah, they got to build the trench, and then maybe they have a shot. Because I don't even know if Hackett's the right OC for that either. So, but yeah, Jets will be interesting this offseason for sure.
All right, now let's transition to free agent news. We didn't talk about this with the Eagles, but Shaq Leonard has signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. Perfect timing, right? The Niners, they just lost to the Niners, and their linebackers looked like a big issue on Sunday. So you get a guy like Shaq Leonard to help that linebacker room. What would you grade this signing right off the bat without seeing him play?
Well, I think just because it's a need, you could argue it's an A move. But yeah, I think why he picked Eagles over the Cowboys is because he was watching that game. He's like, man, Nicholas Morrow, he missed that tackle on Debo. Man, these linebackers can't expose. I can go and start over these guys. He's going to come in here. He's already in Philly right now. He's going to play Sunday. I tell you that right now. He's going to start. But yeah, think you're getting the all-pro guy that from a couple of years ago that was balling out with the Colts. Don't think that. He was waived by the Colts for a reason. He is a little bit. He has not been playing up to standard, but at the same time, how he went out, he got a guy that fills a need, so you can't knock it. And I appreciate that he is trying to fix that and correct that. So I do give it an A because you know what, it's not a move that's going to hurt you. It can only help you from there. So just got to improve at the margins at this point, and he went out and did it. So I can't knock it. The only thing that he could do is help. He can't even hurt us anymore at that position anyway.
Yeah, I feel like a guy you need in the locker room. He's a leader. He can help that linebacker room right away. That's something they needed on Sunday. People could not make a tackle on Sunday, and it was bad. So I feel like this guy, a veteran, is a leader. Like he could get the job done, and I'm jealous. That's all I gotta say. I'm jealous because like the Eagles are making all the good moves all the time, and as a Giants fan, I hate it. I hate it. Um, but let's talk about another free agent signing. I know this
That's
signing
what
isn't
winning
as
does.
splashy.
That's what winning does, Steve. You know that.
Yeah, I know, I know. Let's talk about another signing though. It isn't as splashy. This guy's a little older, and his name's Logan Ryan. He was a safety on the Patriots, won a Super Bowl with them. Was on the Titans when they beat the Patriots. Tom Brady's last game as a Patriot had the pick six. He did make an appearance on the Giants during the Dave Gettleman era, and he was recently just on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and now he's just signed with the San Francisco 49ers. What do you grade that? Because I feel like it is a need, but like at the same time, I don't know how well he will perform because he is getting up there in age as well.
Kind of similar to my take on Shaq Leonard. I'll probably give this an A just because I guess with Huvanga going out, get a guy in there. He might start this week. He might take a while, bring him up to speed. Maybe they can afford him to come a little later in the season start because he does have that experience with the postseason and all that. So I can't knock this for him. This is what good teams do with the Eagles and the 49ers. They just improve where they need help at. So I can't knock this at all. So you got a veteran guy in there. He's just going to plug in and play, do his thing. He's probably going to play safety because they're a little bit thin there. So yeah, it was a good pickup.
Yeah, I like both the pickups. I didn't give a grade for the Eagles. I would give it an A as well, and I give this one an A as well. We're both on the same page. I like that. What else? Any other news I could think about? We could talk about Tom Brady because he hasn't been in the news lately because he's not playing, but he has his own little podcast. And let's talk about what Tom Brady's thinking about the league nowadays. So I think Tom Brady right now, right, he's thinking the league is soft. I kind of agree with him. It's not the same as what it was once before. And he was also talking about on like people thinking he's soft as well. And then everyone thinks I was a Pussy. I won't say the word, but I'll say this is the quote. And then everyone thinks he was a P out there, and he took every single hit and got my ass up. So people are thinking he's soft, but in reality, I think he was one of the tougher quarterbacks in the league. Other than I think one injury, season-ending injury, he was like always available. And Tom Brady, I think he's one of the best. He is the best. He is the GOAT quarterbacks to play this game. What do you think of Tom Brady about him talking about how the league is now soft and how people thought he was soft?
Yeah, he has a point. You can't really hit each other anymore. Like a guy coming over middle, part of that interview is like, hey, if Ray Lewis is out there, I'm not throwing over the middle, right? Why? Because he's going to knock him out for that game. Not even only that, he's going to knock him out for a couple games after that. So he's like, it changed the way how I thought. So it's like, okay, I'm going to throw more to the outside. I'm not going to throw it Ray Lewis, Ed Reed's way because they're going to knock the guy out. So I do think it changed a little bit. And also, like, I guess is mediocre because he was also saying about player development, learning how to protect yourself. Those were fundamentals of the game that they taught them at the Patriots. So yeah, I do agree with that. I do think it's kind of not that I wanted to be like two-hand touch flag football, but it's kind of just becoming that way. And it is taking like the whole fun competitiveness out of it when you're getting these soft flags thrown for late hits on the quarterback. Like
I
they
know.
barely hit the guy. It was like it could be a little push and they get a flag. It's crazy, and So I do agree with Tom Brady that the league's becoming mediocre. It's definitely not as fun as it used to be. And I guess on the whole P word, Tom Brady's not. I mean, I guess like his demeanor and I guess the way he carries himself, maybe you see it. Maybe you see him as a nice guy off the field, and you're like, oh, maybe give it he had. But he's right. He does take hits and he gets up and he doesn't whine about it, I guess, too. So yeah, I don't think that was I don't think he was. I don't think a lot of the guys believe that too. Maybe during the game to get on their skin, they're like calling him that, and that fired him up, and that probably was not a smart thing from them to do. So get that guy extra motivation. But yeah, no, he's not. Like you said, you made a good point. He only missed like one season injury. I think it might have been an ACL.
And then
But
I believe he had like the 4-game suspension due to Deflategate. Other than that, like he's
yeah,
always available.
he was available. He protected himself, like he said. He got
Mm-hmm.
himself in position to protect himself. So yeah, I mean, I think his comments are fair.
Yeah, I agree. I think the league is soft. I agree with everything he said, and they are fair. I miss like all the big hits. We did see a big hit this weekend. It was the Eagles Niners game, the hit on Swift. That was a nice hit. Haven't seen a hit like that in a while. I wish I saw
That's what
more
makes
of that.
it fun.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun, and I miss that. I'm surprised it wasn't called for a penalty. He might get fined. We don't know yet. All the fines didn't come out,
That's the thing.
but
You
that was
see
a
a
legal
big
hit
hit,
though.
it's like, oh my gosh, are they gonna get flagged?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
always
Like now, when you see that, you feel like they're going to get flagged, and I hate that. I feel like the league has become too soft, like Tom Brady's saying. I agree with everything he said, but yeah, I don't like how the game has changed
yeah.
overall. Let's end it with one more topic. So, Giants, they're playing the Packers this week, Monday night. The Giants are playing with Tommy DeVito as a starting quarterback, as Brian Dable announced. He said he earned the job. Do you think Tommy DeVito has earned the job over Tyrod Taylor, or do you think the Giants are trying to tank and they don't want to start Tyrod and want a better draft pick?
Mm. Well, you got the veteran experience with Tyrod Taylor, so I
Yeah.
think they know what they're getting with him. I think they're just giving Tommy a shot, see if he could prove himself. Maybe he's not with the Giants next year, and it could probably help his career. And someone saying, you know what, I liked what I saw with you in the X amount of games you played with New York, and I'll bring you in to training camp here. You could earn a spot. So I think Giants are doing Tommy DeVito a favor for his career to prolong it. Um, yeah, and I don't know. The Giants, I guess, are still technically in the hunt, but also if you have to think about the long-term future, they're okay with Tommy DeVito playing and them not winning the games. They'll get a draft pick as a result, and they can build the team that way. So I think it's kind of a win-win at this point in this season to start DeVito and see what he got, and that can help him too, depending on how well he plays. Get him a spot on a team next year. Stay with New York again. So yeah, I don't hate this move. We know what Tyrod is at this point, and he'll probably be a backup again somewhere else because he's kind of like a household name now in the NFL. And they're just letting Tommy DeVito put his name out there. So I like this. I give the Giants a lot of respect for the move.
Yeah, I believe Dable made the right move. I believe Tommy Cutlets deserves the job. He's won the locker room. I feel like the Giants got a lot more juice in the locker room because of that. Players are loving him. Saquon's calling him Jersey. Like it's just a whole locker room thing, and it's great to see as a Giants fan. As a Paisan, I like it. I like the move. And yeah, Tyrod, he's done this before. He's lost his job. He's owned up to it. And Tyrod Taylor, he's a free agent. So I feel like this is an audition for Tommy DeVito to be the backup quarterback for the Giants. Because I feel like we're not going to re-sign Tyrod Taylor. Giants might even go quarterback in a draft because we don't know what Daniel Jones' injury is going to turn out to be. Like, how long is the recovery going to be? We don't know. So I feel like there's a chance. There's a real chance that DeVito could start next year. depending on when Daniel Jones comes back, or even they might draft a rookie as well. There's a lot of questions going into this offseason. So I feel like this is an audition for him to like earn that backup job, to be potentially the future backup of the New York Giants, because I believe Tyrod Taylor is on his way out and he will get a job elsewhere because he's one of the most respected backup quarterbacks in the league. But yeah, I feel like this is the right move by Dable. We've won the last 2 games. We're kind of on a win streak. But we're playing the Packers, and that's not going to be easy. I believe it's at Lambeau, so it's going to be a tough game. But I think Tommy DeVito has earned a job, like Brian Dable said. I believe we're going to end the podcast there because we talked about a lot of stuff, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We got a link tree in the description box down below. It's got all our socials. We got Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, we got it. That's all we have for you guys today. Benchwire
Out.